Today on the Expert Show, we have a very special guest, Barbara Tallent, the CEO and the co-founder of the Adsign company, which is built around Flutter. And not just that, she has been GM of the Zmail division of network computing devices, and also CEO of Goldfish, and also the co-founder of Binders, which is an educational software company with over 1 million registered users. So hello ma'am, welcome to the Expert Show. I'm so pleased to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. So as you are the co-founder and CEO of the Adsign company, which revolves around privacy, I want to know your thoughts on what privacy means to you.
Well, privacy means a lot of different things. For me, it's being able to control who has my information and what they do with it. And I'm not fond of the fact that once somebody gets a hold of my email address, they feel free to email me and abuse that as much as possible. And it's really hard to shut that off. So I also think that the social media platforms have just gone way too far and really overreach and share way too much information. And people share a lot of information on social media platforms. It's very personal, and they don't take that seriously, and they actually abuse that. So I just think it's time for a change.
Thank you for such a beautiful explanation. Also, what was your idea and inspiration that got you started with the Adsign company?
Well, the inspiration came from my co-founders, Colin and Kevin. They've been working on this for a long time, and they are just both really, they see the future way ahead of me, for sure. And so when they explained to me what they were doing, I was just so excited about it, and so excited to work with them to try to bring this vision to life. But they are the geniuses behind it, for sure.
Awesome. And what is the role of Adsign and the newly apps being created, and how much it is beneficial for people?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're trying to flip the way the internet works today. So right now, you give your data to every application that you log into, right? So you sign up for a new application and you start putting data in, and the application owns the data. And the vendor of that application needs to protect that data. And if they don't do a good job, which happens a lot, then somebody gets in and they get everybody's information. So we want to flip that whole thing on its head and let everybody own their own data and control their data and give it so the applications log into you instead of you logging into the application. And so what this does is just a whole bunch of really interesting things. First of all, it creates just peer-to-peer apps. So you're only talking to somebody else. You're not talking to a server in the sky. And it also allows you to own your data permanently. So you don't give it away. You give a time that people can use it. And that time may be indefinitely. I mean, you want your good friends to have your address always. But you can always take it back. So the platform gives everybody their own individual database. And what this does is it also makes development much more accessible for developers, because they no longer have to build this whole back-end infrastructure, protect people's data. That's all done for them.
Okay, so everyone who are watching or listening to this show, make sure to check out the adsign.com and give priority to your privacy. And now let me put an interesting question that favors the Flutter developers, like who are basically my audience. Why did you choose to build this company around Flutter, and what are the advantages you see of choosing Flutter?
Yeah, so many. We just really lucked out that we started. Colin and Kevin looked at different platforms to start, and they really liked Dart and started using Dart to build the software itself. And then when they discovered the Flutter framework as part of that, it was such a no-brainer, because you develop one time and it runs on everything, and that's just such a huge savings. At my last company, trying to keep up the apps for all the different platforms it was painful and it was costly, and so Flutter is just such a wonderful find. And we jumped on it pretty early. So watching it take off the way it has been a lot of fun.
Great. This is the reason more and more companies are adopting Flutter too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful platform. And I actually, when we first decided to use it, I started mocking up an app myself in Flutter just to get a feel for it. And I just loved it. It was really easy to code in.
Yeah. And I have also listened to your several of the talks for preparing for this interview. And in one of your talks, you talked about the concept of alternative internet. So could you introduce a bit about this concept to our audience too?
Yeah, so that's this whole idea that people should own their data and own their privacy. And as people build apps on the platform, they're giving that back to the people who are using their products. We actually don't call them users. At the At Company, we call them people, because we want everybody to remember that these are humans using your products, and that their privacy is super important, and creating beautiful interfaces that really respect the people using your product, those are all things that are really important as well. It's another thing about Flutter. It makes it so easy to create those beautiful user interfaces.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm ready for the alternative internet, and I think more and more people are ready for this too.
I think so. Every day we hear more and more reasons why we need to do things differently. And I'm excited about the platform offering software developers the opportunity to create these new experiences and just better apps overall. So we call ourselves internet optimists. We believe it's going to be a better world.
Yeah. And also, since you have been into startups and companies for a long time, and managing people is the hardest and the crucial thing, so what's your take on team management and teamwork?
Yeah, so I've actually been blogging about this lately. We decided when we started the At Company, we wanted people at the center of the company. And so really respecting people and what they can contribute is really important to us. And we decided the best way to do that is through a flat organizational structure. So we don't have middle managers at the company. We don't have department managers. We just have everybody working on projects. And you can kick off any project that you want. You can get other people excited about your project and build a team, and it's so much fun to watch how people do this at the company. And we've changed everything in the company to support that project-based teamwork. And so we're very collaborative. And we have stand-ups every day where everybody talks about what it is that they're working on and covers any blockers that they have. And so this has been a real adventure for me, because the companies I've run in the past have all been hierarchical. So I'll have middle managers. And so this has been quite an adventure.
Okay, and well, as Adsign isn't the only company you founded or being part of, so could you share with us how did you enter in this world of entrepreneurship and when?
I co-founded a company really early on in my career. I was never gonna do well at large companies. I think you'll find that with a lot of entrepreneurs. We just don't like red tape, and we like to run fast, and you can do that when you're running your own company. So I can't even remember the first company that I started. It was so long ago. but I started with some great co-founders, and I think that's always the key, is finding the right co-founders if you're going to start a company. I've actually never started a company on my own. I've always co-founded it with other people because I love teamwork and working with other people.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the At Company, I really lucked out this time around with my co-founders.
Okay, great. And you have also been the CEO of Goldfish, and which mainly deals with email marketing for enterprises. So how do you stumble upon this email marketing thing and became the CEO of Goldfish?
Well, I actually started there as the VP of marketing, and this was in the very early days of email marketing. And I actually thought email marketing was going to be great. I thought it was going to be a way for companies to really talk individually to their customers and really understand and have a dialogue with their customers. And it didn't turn out that way. It turned out to be companies spamming their customers more, which is kind of sad. But so I actually had a lot of hope when I joined the company. And I joined as the VP of marketing, and then the CEO was fired. And so I took over running the company at that point. And it was, I took over as a temporary CEO because I had small children at home and I just wasn't ready to run a company. But this was back in the days of the .com thing. And so finding a good CEO was super hard. And we just couldn't find a good one. So I just said, okay, I'll do it. So that's how I ended up running that company.
Okay. And now my one question with you is, most people can't find much time around, so how do you manage your productivity?
Oh, well, that's actually the beauty of this flat organization, is that people volunteer to help out other people. If you get in a crunch, just about anybody, you can call just about anybody in the company. And not just me, everybody in the company can tap into the resources. And in fact, we just set up a help chat room where if you get stuck with something, or you just need somebody else to buy something, you just say, hey, I need help, and somebody will jump on and help you. So I think that's the beauty of this company, is that everybody's very collaborative and teamwork is the priority. And as such, I don't have to do as much as I normally would. I think it does let me focus on, communicating with investors and the board and all those things that I need to do. But the company runs itself. I was joking with Kevin and Colin the other day, because we were talking about insurance, and you're supposed to have key person insurance, and I was thinking, well, we definitely need that for Kevin and Colin, but I don't even think they need it for me because the company just runs itself.
It was great to know about this, and these were really some of the great advices, and I would recommend everyone to follow these too.
Thank you.
And I would love to know your views on what do you think is the driving force behind the change of any small startup to becoming a big business?
Oh, that's a great question. There's so many forces involved, and I think, timing is always the key, right? It's hitting the market at the right point in time. We've been super lucky about that, because when we started the company, people didn't care that much about privacy. And then the social dilemma came out, and people started to understand just how they're being manipulated online. So for us, timing has been great. And I think that's what, for some of my other startups, I think that's been the problem, is when you're an entrepreneur, you often see the world how it should be, but the world's not ready to get there yet. And so your timing can oftentimes just be off. And I think that's really one of the keys. And then the other thing is just execution, pulling together a team that works together well and can grow together and just the monthly grind of making sure you get everything done in a timely manner. So, so it's big picture and small picture, and keeping both of those in focus.
And what is your advice to newbie thinking about starting a startup?
So my advice is always pick your co-founders carefully. You spend so much time with your co-founders, and you're going to spend years with them. And so it's just super important that you find people that not only that you like, because you're going to spend a lot of time with them, but also that are really aligned in your goals. So if you want to build the next big thing, make sure your co-founders agree that that's what you're doing. Or if you just want to build a lifestyle business, make sure your co-founders agree that that's what you're doing. I think that's probably the most important thing.
Awesome, and thank you so much for sharing some of the great advices and your valuable experience and knowledge with us. And I'm so humbled and glad to have a beautiful conversation with you. And again, thank you so much for coming on the Expert Show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much everyone for sticking with us till the end. I tried to cover every important topic that could be valuable and serve as an asset for you. So if you find this video helpful, then make sure to share it with all your tag friends. And do hit that like button, it really motivates me to make much more quality content for you. And if you have any doubts, suggestions or feedback, then make sure to put it in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed till now, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to come up with amazing content on this channel. And also another amazing episode is coming on the next Monday, so stay tuned. So now I will see you in the next episode. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.